So before you start that job search, ask yourself these 5 questions. That way you know what you're really going to be looking for. My name is Bree Crow. I'm your technology and creative recruiter. And I want you to ask these questions of yourself before you start your job search so you make sure that you land a job that you're excited about. First question, do you want to work for a small to mid-sized company, or do you prefer to work in an enterprise company? This is a big one because they're very different. Small to mid-sized companies have far less red tape. Their processes are not as defined, and most likely your role is going to be wearing multiple hats, and you might be more of a generalist. It's a different type of skill set. If you're working in an enterprise environment, the process is far more defined. If this happens, do that, or really clear structure. But also your role is going to be far more focused potentially on a specific tool, technology, process, or task. Okay. Do you want to work for a mid-sized company, or do you want to work maybe even a startup or an enterprise company? Number 2, money. Okay. Before you start looking for a new job, ask yourself, and especially if is this driven by money, ask yourself, have I really fully explored all of my potential conversations with my current leaders to make sure that I couldn't have a raise or a promotion in my current environment before I make a move? Make sure that you've had those conversations. If it is about money, number 3 here is, if it is about money and you've already exhausted all of your options and you want to make a move, what is your bare minimum that you would accept in a job? And then what is your ideal salary or hourly rate? It's important for you to have, you're not going to tell everyone this, but it's really important that you have this defined for yourself before you've had an interview or have started to explore a new job. Because you know what happens when we get really excited about a new job? Everything else can go out the window, and all of a sudden you start accepting or moving your boundaries of what's important to you. So know ahead of time, bare minimum salary and your ideal salary, so you can keep that in mind once you've actually found a job and you're interviewing for it. Okay. Number 3, or no, excuse me. We're now on number 4. This is a big one. I ask candidates it all the time, and they rarely ever have an answer for me. What are 2 to 3 companies that you're interested in working for? This is a big one because ideally with that, you're not only going to apply to those companies that have jobs open, but say you're at a networking event or with your family and friends, you can immediately rattle off, hey, by the way, if you have any connections or know of any way for me to get the foot in the door with these 3 companies, I'm really interested. And it also allows you to use it as a benchmark for other jobs or opportunities that are coming your way, because you've said, I'm interested in these 3 companies. And ideally, you know why those 3 companies, right? Maybe it's their mission, their values, or their industry. Using that as a really great benchmark, and it also gives you something to immediately mention to the people in your network so they can keep an eye out and get you plugged in to those companies. Okay, number 5, what are 2 to 3 characteristics of your ideal boss or manager? You want to be able to use these to be able to vet in the interview process, to be able to ask questions of them to ensure that they have the right characteristics of what you're looking for. This is someone you're going to report to and work with every single day. So what is their management style? How do they go about fostering culture within the team? It could be absolutely anything, but know it for yourself of what your ideal boss looks and acts like, so you can vet that out in an interview process. Again, all of this to ensure that you're finding a job that you're excited about and want to stay at. Number 6, my little bonus question here. What are we trying to avoid? What do we not want in a new job? We got to make sure, again, notice that most of these are boundary setting in the job interview process. You want to make sure that you have your boundaries to make sure that you find a job that's not outside of them. My name is Bree Crow. Again, I'm a technology and creative recruiter. I post often about the jobs that I'm actively recruiting for, interview tips. I have a course with a coworker, a colleague of mine, Caitlin Studley Potter, called Roadmap to Getting Hired. So you can go and check that out if you're starting your job search and you want help with your resume and every other step of the interview process. Check out Roadmap to Getting Hired. Otherwise, you can go to our website for Human Dimensions, www.hirehd.co. All right. Have a good afternoon. Go get hired.